Alright, good morning YouTube. Nick with NK Landscaping here again as usual. Today we got a new project. We're almost loaded up. We got the BX here. We're throwing in the construction trailer. We have a pond drain repair that we got to do today. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. One of those things you kind of got to see. So we got Fitz, we got Kurt. Like I said, we got the construction trailer and a few things in the bed there, including the water pump. So let's get loaded up, and then we got to stop at the store to pick up a few extra things, and then we're on our way down to I think it's Westchester. So check in with you in a second. All right, we've just pulled up on site. Off camera, we picked up some pipes. So we got the BX loaded up with all the tools that we need. And there is the pond in question. So we're gonna get headed down there, set up the pipes to get the pond pumping down, and then I'll show you what's going on here. If you're wondering why we didn't bring the excavator, entrance here is a little small, so just easier to do with the BX. Words to live by right there. Tight fit. Alright, so problem at hand before we get pumping. Right here you can see our overflow pipe. That goes down maybe 18 inches before you can't see it anymore. But the dam is leaking right here. And it makes this whole backyard super wet. So we're going to get this pumped down maybe about a foot is the goal. There's a bunch of fish in here that we don't want to hurt, so we don't want to pump it down too far. Luckily they do have good inflow here to fill this up relatively quickly. But you can see we're getting good flow out of here, so this dam is leaking. So what's going to happen, we're going to pump it down. The overflow is clogged, and then we're going to see what we need to do in this section to repair this, put in new overflow and new pipe underground to outlet there. We're also going to lower the finished height of the pond a little bit, just so it's not so close to the overflow section of the dam here. But yeah, we're going to get pumping here in a second. Fitz is just assembling that pipe, so we're not spraying water all up here anymore. But give us a second to do that. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Alright, we're pumping down now. I don't know if you can see it, but water is flying out that end. Fitz is just screwing together this 4-inch pipe. So now we're going to start excavating where the dam is leaking to see if we can find the culprit. And then once we find that, we're going to have to excavate to find this overflow pipe and see what's going on with that at the same time. So bear with me. This is kind of a little bit of a learning experience for us too. So I just want to show you quick the volume of water that's coming out of this dam. Something is not good in this area right here, and that's what we're looking to solve. What'd you say?
That's a big leak.
That is a big leak, so that's contributing to a lot of wetness in the backyard. Basically, this is just a stream running through the backyard at all times. So we're gonna eliminate that. So I'm gonna dig here just to see what's going on. It looks like there's either a pipe through the dam that we don't know about, or there's just a big hole in the dam. All right, so we're letting that pump down a little bit. It's just, there's too much outflow coming through the dam. All right, I'm using bad terminology here. Let me collect my thoughts. All right, so there's an overflow pipe in the pond that is set currently. Probably it's a 3-inch PVC pipe that's probably set a foot below the height of the pond now. So that's where the pond was supposed to be maintained. The area that the water is flowing out of is the emergency spillway. So that's supposed to be, in the event of a very heavy rain, water is going to flow over that and not compromise the dam. What's happening here is the water was never meant to be that high, all the time. That overflow pipe is supposed to keep that water maintained at a certain height, unless you're in a certain storm condition. The pipe is clogged, so the water has sat at a way high level for a long time, and it's flowing through that emergency spillway, which is just rocks and concrete. So what we need to do is get the water back down to pipe height. We're going to excavate, find that overflow pipe, unclog it, and replace it with a new 4-inch pipe. It may still be 3-inch through the dam because we don't, we can only drain this pond so much. So we'll keep that existing 3-inch pipe that's through the dam, but then we have pipe adapters to adapt up to a 4-inch, and then we'll trench for a new 4-inch line and get that out into the woods. So the pipe will maintain the correct pond level. So that's where we're at. And it's just a waiting game now for the pump to pump down the pond. We're down probably about 2 inches now, so it's moving pretty quick. So we'll see you in a little bit. So we just took an early lunch while the pond was draining down. We're not leaking anymore, or at least the outflow is higher than the water level, so we can't leak out anymore. But we did find that's only a 2.5-inch pipe. That's not enough. We brought a 3 and a 4, but a 2.5 is not enough. So we're gonna pump this down to at least the height of that, and then we're gonna start investigating a little further here and coming up with a good game plan. Yeah, so give us a few minutes. For you it's instantaneous, but let's figure it out. Alright, so since this is already an established pond with fish, we want to keep the fish healthy. And what we've come to the conclusion, so that's a 2.5-inch pipe that goes into an adapter to bring it up to at least 3-inch, which goes down at least another 18 inches and then under the dam. We can't take that out or risk losing all the water in the pond. So what we've come up with, we were going to redo some of this top section of the spillway anyway. So we're going to cut out a section, and we're just going to end up doing a 4-inch pipe with no 90 or anything. It'll just be at water level. So when the water comes up to the 4-inch pipe, it'll just flow out, and then we'll mortar and concrete this area back together. And go from there, because we've stopped the majority of the leaking without draining this whole pond down, relocating the fish. It's a whole big thing to do this the proper way, but we're going to do it as properly as we can with what we have to work with here. So we're going to work on chipping this away and figuring out how to get our pipe mortared and concreted in here. True master of his craft. So we got the pond pumped down. So it's crazy. That's the height of the existing overflow, which is like... Oh, it's a snake. Oh, is there a snake? Oh yeah, there's a little water snake swimming over there. Oh, under the wall. We're probably down 10 to 12 inches from the, the pond height when we got here. So that pond was never meant to be as high as it was. But anyway, we got our wall. I call it the wall or the pond dam or whatever you want to call this. We got this down to where we want it. So we're going to pour concrete nice and flush. The top of this rock right here. So that's probably an additional 4 inches higher than the existing overflow. That doesn't work anymore. We're going to pour concrete to that height of this rock. Then we'll bed a pipe through the dam at our proposed water height. And then we'll fill all around that pipe with concrete. Now that's not going to solve any of the water flowing through the rest of the dam, but as long as that water doesn't get higher than that pipe, which it shouldn't unless we get a crazy rainstorm, which then the spillway will do what the spillway is designed to do, that pipe will handle all that flow. This area may stay a little bit wet just because there is always going to be some leakage through here without tearing this whole thing out, but that's not what we're here to do. So me and Fitz, in the meantime, because we don't want to dig our trench right to here, because then the pond will just drain out, we're going to start a trench down at the end, work our way back, get our pipe to about here. Kurt's going to do the concrete, get that all set, get the pipe set, and then once that's set, probably tomorrow and dry, we will connect the pipes, break this little dam in the middle, cover everything back up, and in and out nice and quick. So Fitz is ready, I'm ready. Let's go dig our trench. So when me and Kurt initially came to this meeting, we looked at this spot right here. This is like there's some rock in here, and we were curious. Excuse me, we were curious to what this might be. We thought it might have had to do with the spillway pipe or the overflow pipe in the pond. So when we were draining the water, it was kind of flowing into the woods right there, and then it would kind of wrap around and come into here. And like Fitz just mentioned to me, this was full. This was like a pond right here. It has now just soaked all that water up. So we're thinking there might be a pipe right here. And I can hear the water still seeping into the ground. So this is where we're going to start our trench. You can see our orange line. We're going to make our way back up to the pond. Like I said, stopping maybe 10 feet shy of the pond or so. And we'll kind of install our pipe as we go and backfill as we go, so we don't have this whole area from kind of where Fitz is up to the pond is like sopping wet. It has dried out a lot since we did, drain the pond down, but it's still quite a bit wet. So the less we have to drive around on it, the better. Alright, so you guys have watched me dig the trench here. Explaining this hole down at the bottom, so that's where we're going to end. I'll probably end up digging a little more once we backfill, just on the end there. But anyway, I got to where Kurt is now, and I hit a pipe, and I hit another pipe. So we have that gutter is one, and I think the other one is foundation drain. So we're replacing those sections. It's this weird black pipe, very, very fragile. You can see it's all cracked apart. So we're just gonna replace those two sections, and then you can see all this water is just groundwater that's coming up from right about where Fitz is. So we're gonna get these repaired, then we can continue installing our pipe, do our concrete repair, and then that's all gonna have to dry. So let's get this repaired here, fix the little boo-boo. Kurt is installing the concrete. Like I said, that's going to be level with that rock that we're kind of using as water level. So he's going to get that all installed, nice flat for the pipe to sit on, and then we'll install the pipe and concrete all around it. So at least where the pipe goes through will be waterproof. We're not going to have any water leaking past the pipe. So that's what we're going to work on right now. Just mixing the concrete right in our concrete tubs here, and Fitz should be up to us just within a few minutes. And we probably won't cut this section until tomorrow, once that concrete has had a good chance to dry. We have a Fernco fitting, so we'll cap the end just in case for some reason the water level does come up above the pipe, but I doubt it will. So here we go. So by no means are we concrete experts, but we got that pipe concreted through the wall, and we did the same kind of like natural field stone look on the top. So Kurt's making it rain. But we're gonna let that tack up a little bit. It's still a little wet. Clean off the rocks. Then we gotta mortar the joints, and we'll just apply a bit of mortar on the front and back. I guess in the meantime, we are gonna dig as that tacks up a little bit. It'll solidify a little better, and we can get this cut out so we can attach. We're probably gonna cut that back a little bit, put a 22-degree connector, send it down a little lower, and then flatten it back out with another 22. So let's dig this out here, get the rest of that pipe installed. We can probably backfill the rest of this too while we're at it, so let's get going. So here's where we're at for today. Our pipe is installed to water height, just the top of that rock right there. We can't connect these pipes. We need to put a little bend on them, and we don't want to move it while the concrete's still wet and the mortar, but everything looks real nice. We're gonna backfill tomorrow, give these piles a little bit of a chance to dry out overnight because they are pretty moist. But that's really it. It's gonna be backfill, connect the pipes, then backfill, seed and straw, and the water has filled up, I'd say 3/4 of an inch since we installed all this, so that should give that decent adequate time to dry, and hopefully by tomorrow we'll have maybe another 1/2 inch of water. I'm just making up numbers now. We'll probably have, I don't know, we'll see, maybe 1 inch of water tomorrow. But cleaning up now, getting ready to get out of here. All right, so we're back on site. Excuse me. Overnight, believe it or not, this pond filled up almost to the bottom of our overflow. But we are still getting a little bit of leakage through the front of the dam here. So we're pumping the pond back down again. We're gonna get this dug out a little more. We're gonna put some more concrete along the front of the dam. We have a few more bags to use. I know we're not gonna stop all that water flowing through. There's just no way without digging out the whole front of this dam. It's just not possible. But we have a lot less water flowing through the dam now, or the spillway, or whatever you want to call it. And like I said, we're almost to the level of the pipe, so it's not going to get a whole lot worse from here. So we'll get this cleaned up, put some more concrete in there, and then in the meantime we can start backfilling our pipe and you know, go from there. So I'll bring you back in a little bit once we figure out what's going on, and we'll keep working here. Alright, so we're going to fill this little end piece with rocks, kind of like riprap. And as far as grading goes with a small backhoe in a very wet environment, that's not too bad. You know, if this was the excavator, I'd kind of do that squeegee motion with the bucket and pack everything in, but I did the best I could with the bucket. But you can see it's goo. So this is going to settle over time. There'll be something, if they want, they can have us fill it in with some topsoil, even it out. But for now, we'll get it raked out to the best of our abilities, and then we're going to hit it with seed and straw. But you can see over here, put our drain cap on so no fish make their way through the pipe. We concreted the old overflow, and then there's a big hole right there, and that was what we think was the majority of the leak that Kurt patched both sides of. So looking good. Let's do a final rake through here, and I'll check in with you before we leave. So we raked through that to the best of our ability, considering how wet it is. It's like raking Play-Doh. All the rocks that came out, we piled around here, kind of like a riprap type deal. Fitz is putting down the seed. Kurt's starting with the straw. Not too shabby. So, I think we accomplished our goal here. We patched the large portion of the leak in this pond here, in the overflow, the dam. The big complaint was there was a lot of water flowing out of this pond. It was a river. So we lowered the water elevation, water level by a little bit, capped off that old overflow, and we left more than enough water for the fish to do their thing. It's a little surprising how much inflow this pond has, but that's a good thing. Now this pipe will take care of the majority of that water. So, can't complain. So we'll give them an option if they want to add some topsoil to this at a later time. They're more than welcome to do so. So this really makes you think about taking jobs for granted with the technology that we have nowadays, between the steel wrist, the excavator, the rotostar. Having all those on site, it's amazing the things you can do versus doing it kind of the old school way with a machine with just a digging bucket and doing the rest by hand. So cool to be able to kind of go back to our old school roots of doing things and see how, you know, specialized things have gotten nowadays. But yeah, we'll finish up here. I'll show you the one last finished product, and that's it. Well, Kurt's watering in the grass seed, getting that hay wet so it doesn't blow away. But that's a wrap. Final fix. So we just gotta hit everything with the blower real quick. I just put the BX in the trailer. Not too bad for 2 days. Alright guys, that's a wrap on that project. So I got a question for you. I want to know, if you were put up against the same situation as us here, 2 days, I guess you could use whatever equipment you want as long as it fit through that gate. How would you have done it? Did you see something that we did wrong? Did you think there's a better way to do it? Let me know. I want to hear down in the comments. How would you have done it? In 2 days. It has to be 2 days. It was budgeted for 2 days. And you got to fix the leak. Would you have done it different? Use different materials? I don't know. Let me know. I want to hear it. So, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't, you don't have to either. New videos out every week. I want to thank you again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.